All right, all right. How you guys doing? Great to be having a second conversation. I suggest if you haven't done the first conversation, to go back and do the first conversation so you can fully grasp what we're doing. This is Dan Nzinga is a video on how to become a top rep. The second conversation is gets right into it. Okay, so as you guys did, the first conversation was about declarations. But before you can fly, you have to really know what's stopping you from flying. So there are basically invisible chains around our ankles that's keeping us from being as great as we want to be. Discovering those is just as important as learning how to fly, learning how to get up, because you might, every time you're applying something is not working, it's really important to discover. So the next conversations will really be about discovering what's stopping us first. And once we kind of clear out what's stopping us, the road will be clear. Then it'll be easier to work on the techniques of how to get to being the top rep that you want to be. I almost guarantee that anybody, if you listen to these conversations, you apply the teachings, you do the work, you will be the top producer in your company, definitely on your team. There's no reason why you shouldn't be, because anybody with teaching can become the top producer. This video is for salespeople, to be on the top. Now, before we talk about sales, again, we want to talk about different things that could be stopping us. And I always want to acknowledge that we are definitely on a mission to get something that we don't have already. That we always want to remember that. Like, I'm trying to become better than I am right now. So, what is stopping us? Okay, so I want to talk about when someone isn't a top producer. Okay, doesn't necessarily mean you're in poverty or anything like that, but to not be able to succeed. Let's call it poverty, because poverty could be not being able to get there. So you don't have to be necessarily financially poor, but you're a poor salesperson because you're not producing as much as you want to. You could be poor in your marriage. You could be poor in different things. But now we're talking about in sales. If you're not getting enough sales, then there is a form of poverty there for you. So we want to talk about what's holding people back, and why people aren't getting there. So let's just forget sales for now. Let's just look at poverty in general. What causes poverty? What is poverty? A lot of people will say, well, it's a lack of money. People don't have money, or you don't have enough. You don't have enough ability to do things. Okay, so we're gonna redefine poverty. And again, when I ask these questions, it's important. It would be best if they would be answered, in the comments. Commented. You say what you think, say how you feel, because that is really the key to getting the transformation, like I explained in the first video. So I can't keep repeating everything in the first video. So I really recommend watching the first one first and then coming back to this one. Okay, so the question I'm going to ask you guys: if you lost everything that you had today, you lost let's say you lost your house, burnt down, you lost your car, and you lost your job, okay, and you had nothing left. All you had left was pretty much your contacts on your phone. It's all you had is your phone. So how long do you think it would take you to find something to eat if you had lost everything? No money, no house, no car, nothing. All you had was your phone with your contacts on it. How long would it take you to find something to eat? If you think about it, most people would say, well, at least about 30 minutes, because I could call somebody, they'd bring me something to eat. No big deal. So how long also do you think it would take you to find somewhere to sleep tonight if you had lost everything? Most people, again, probably the same source I'd given them the food, they would just, call a friend, a family, and they definitely have a place to sleep tonight. How long would it take for you to find a job? Most people, again, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 1 week. Some people would get it right away. Me, myself, I'm always getting hit up for opportunities, so I could probably find it within the hour, as long as the person when I call them back, they'd answer their phones. So the average American, the average person, really puts a lot of stake in those things, realizing that, first of all, those things can easily be replaced. It would take you less than a day to pretty much find a place to sleep, find something to eat, and get a job that quickly. Okay, the reason why we're having this conversation is to eliminate the fear that sometimes people have that's holding them back. Okay, and that fear is what's really keeping a lot of people in poverty from doing a lot. When you have stress, so sales and stress don't go well together. The worst thing when you're stressed out, when you're panicking, when you have fear, the clients can feel that, and it's not good. You're gonna lose the sale. They're gonna feel tension. They're not gonna know what's wrong, and they're gonna back out. You want to be totally free and totally loose from all change, all fear, all stuff. And this is the conversation that's gonna help you do that. Okay, so let's look at poverty itself. A lot of people are stressed out because they're afraid of poverty. They're afraid of not having. They're afraid of losing their house. They're afraid of losing their car, and all that stuff. And that stress, you want to eliminate that stress. So this conversation is going to help you eliminate that. When you actually look at true poverty, what it is, it's not really lacking money. Um, the source of not having money is a symptom of what really poverty is. Okay, poverty is when you have no power. When you feel like you don't have power in your situation, then you get stressed. You're basically living in poverty. When you're in a situation where you have no voice, meaning that your words don't matter, what you say, no one's listening to you, you have no impact on your environment verbally. That is somebody that is going to shut down. That's somebody that is not going to be able to be super productive in life. When you lack knowledge, when you don't understand what's going on, you don't understand the lingo spoken with people who have money, or you're basically like in a country that they're speaking another language, or you just don't know enough about your product or about your situation. That's going to keep you in poverty. And when I'm talking about poverty now, is we're talking about sales, we're talking about not being able to produce. Like what's stopping you from being a top producer, okay? And what you're afraid of is the poverty. I don't want you to think of poverty as just when somebody doesn't have money, okay? Because you could not have a lot of money at the moment, but within yourself, you have to know what causes you to not have money. Okay, again, we said lack of power, no voice, lack of knowledge. When you have no confidence, having no confidence does more for keeping somebody in poverty than anything else. If you could just inject people with confidence, that would make a huge difference in their lives. A lot of poor salespeople is they lack a lot of confidence. Okay, also lack of relationships like friends and family. If you don't have any, it amazes me how many salespeople I come across who had never sell to any of their friends or their family. I would say because they say, "Well, I don't have friends like that." You're not doing yourself a favor by having less friends and nobody to. You don't have a network yourself. You should have your own market that's already warm leads. So that keeps you in poverty as well. Because not only do they buy from you, they refer people to you. They recommend people to you. Having friends and family and having no friends and family will keep you in poverty. And even in other fields, if you're socially isolated from the world, now you're on your own. You don't have the more you rely on your friends and family, the more you have more friends, and you're always adding to your friends list. It's funny. The more that you depend on them, the more independent you become, because there's more people that you have adding into that you can tap into. And when somebody lets you down, that's not a big deal because you have a lot of friends, you have a lot of family, a lot of people supporting you. Okay, so not having a network, not having that will keep you in poverty. And even when there's early church times, Paul always encouraged the early Christians to fellowship together and come together in one because they support each other. And being isolated is one thing that causes even more poverty. All right, other things that cause poverty is, and the reason why, again, I'm talking about poverty because a lot of the fear of it is holding us. So we have to be able to conquer this whole thing and get it out of our heads, okay, so that we can sell fully. Okay, not having a choice. So we talked about lack of power, no voice, lack of knowledge, no confidence, no friends and family, or a lack of. Okay, a lack of choice. Okay, if you feel like you have no choice in your matter, and that's why I love this profession of selling, is because it gives you a lot of choice. You pretty much can design your day how you want to, and you can attack how you want to, and do, and you write your own check. So you have a choice in the matter of how much you make. You have a choice in how hard you work, and there's nobody really doing. If somebody has to be looking over you to tell you what to do, then you're not a top rep yet. Okay, if you're not working, you can choose to work on your days off. You can choose to function the way you want to. So that's a great advantage. All right. Um, what keeps you in poverty also is being in constant confusion, not understanding things. It's kind of like the no knowledge thing. You don't have you're in confusion. You're in frustration. I mean, if you're constantly and frustrated, people are gonna feel that. You're living in poverty. Emotionally, you're in poverty if you're always frustrated, if you're always worried, doubt. These are things that are the roots of you not being a top producer, which is the roots of poverty as well. Worry, fear, doubt, constant breakdowns all the time. I had one of my employees all the time. Something's happening, a car breakdown. He's constantly in breakdowns in his life. Always a crisis. Phone not working, car not working, this not working. Everything just always constantly breaking down. This person is living in poverty, and of course it affects his sales because he's always having a breakdown. He's always frustrated. To be a top rep, you almost have to eliminate all those distractions, handle all that stuff, so that you can fully be engaged with the client, fully be engaged with what you're doing, so that you can go ahead and be a top producer. Okay, so everything I basically talked about, what really causes poverty, um, confidence, knowledge, it really has nothing to do with money. But it will affect your money. Okay, if you have no confidence and you're always in breakdowns, you're not going to be able to get out of there. So poverty really is an emotion. The root of it is an emotion, a feeling, a mindset, and then that will manifest in the physical world. But it really starts within here. Which the good news of that is, as long as you can take care of here, you can start becoming a top producer. You can start taking care. It has nothing to do with how much traffic. It has nothing to do with all that other stuff. It really has to do with confidence, knowledge, all that other stuff. Okay, that we talked about. Okay, so consider what would you be like if you were able to eliminate all of these mental chains, limited beliefs that are holding you back. Okay, and a lot of people don't have it. Some of you might have more than others. Okay, if you could eliminate your lack of confidence, your lack of knowledge, your lack of your constant frustration, if you could eliminate that, just imagine what type of person you would be. You would really be somebody that is going forward, always on the attack, never never fearful, basically fearless. Kobe Bryant comes to mind of somebody who was fearless when he used to play basketball in his prime. Just not afraid of any challenge, actually embraces them, takes them on. Michael Jordan was the same way, just a fearless individual, and that's how you want to be on the sales floor or whatever field that you're in, is just to be fearless, love challenges, working hard, and enjoying it because you don't have the lack of confidence. It doesn't matter how many no's you get, your confidence is not shaken. It doesn't matter how many friends and family say no to your product, that's not shaken. They're still going to be your friends and family. And when you have that ability, you gain more power in yourself. Okay? So your transformation to become a top rep begins when you start to let go of all of these things. When you start to deal with your lack of confidence and you start building up your network, you start seeing the choices and valuing them as a blessing, the choice that you have in your life to the choices and options you have as a salesperson that a lot of people don't have. When you start valuing that and noticing them, when you start eliminating constant confusion and breakdown, fear and doubt and anger, the worst thing is a salesperson that's angry. They could be angry about something else, but if they're like frustrated and they're trying to be like, pressuring people, and then they don't get to sell and they're angry. Somebody might buy it from you, but they did not have a great experience. You want to leave every client with a great experience, and that's how you get referrals back. You want them to feel good. So selling when you have any fear or doubt or worry, and people try to flip it over. They think that once they're selling, they excuse me, it won't display the worry or fear they have from other stuff at home. It will. The client is going to feel that because it's the same person. You're the same person that was worried 2 hours ago before you left your house. Now you're on the floor it is affecting you and it's going to affect the client. You don't want to have any worry in your life, not just on the floor. You want to have any worry, any stress, at least the minimum possible. I mean, if I'm about to lose my house, it's going to be hard for me to sell if I'm worried about that. If I'm worried about my wife, her health, or my kids, or whatever, it's going to be very difficult for me to focus on what I'm doing. Even if I go through the script, I'm not going to do a great job. So what we aim to accomplish here is to help you basically see that you can overcome this poverty. You can overcome whatever that you are afraid to overcome, whatever you're doing. So now here's your homework, and here's what you have to do. Okay, I want you to write down, if you could transform yourself to anything that you want it to be. Okay, what would you basically pick? Powerful person, fearless. That's what I would write on mine. If you could become anybody that you wanted to be, okay, what would you be? Like, if you could pick a superpower, sometimes I would ask have a question I would ask people: what superpower would you pick? And some people would say flying, or to see through walls and everything. That the superpower I would pick, if I was to pick any type of superpower and be a Superman or a superhero, I would pick the ability to sell anything to anybody. That is a great superpower, because I would be able to end all wars. I would be able to sell any idea. I could make, anybody fall in love with me. Anybody can like me. And my enemies, I would just turn them into friends just by convincing them and selling them on the idea that I'm their friend. You can walk in any store and pick anything and just tell them that it's yours, and they'll believe you. So being believable is actually a superpower that you can actually work on. But back to your assignment, which is pick what you would want to be in yourself. Okay, I would want to be kind, loving, fearless. That's the type of person I want to be. Okay, so you want, on the comments, write what you want to transform yourself to be. And a lot of people, it's hard to do that because you got to put your ego aside to say that you are not where you want to be with these things. You have to say, I am not as confident as I want to be. I am not as good. And that's why in the beginning we always say you want to get somewhere something that you don't have. Now, forget the outside for now. Just think about inside of yourself. What are you like? And this forces you to think a little bit. What type of person are you? And what is your weakness? And how would you like to improve your weakness? What would you like it to be, transform to be? So once you kind of have an idea, drop 3, 4, 5 things. Could be fearless, loving, that people put forgiving, whatever it is, relentless. You put those down. Consider that this is an opportunity. Your sales position, your job is an opportunity to transform yourself to become these things. The minute that your career appears to you as an opportunity to better yourself, not to get more money, okay, but to improve yourself and the qualities that you want to have in your outside life, okay? So let's say in your outside life, you just want to be more patient with your family, okay? Put that down. This is what you want to be. Consider that your career, your job, is practice to becoming who you want to be. It's your way of transformation. So whatever it is, you want to be more disciplined. Let's say you cannot lose weight or whatever. You want to be more disciplined. Anything that it is, your job now needs to be, from now on, an opportunity for you to practice these things and transform into this person. Okay, sales is, like I said in the first video, you're suspending the belief that you're here for selling. Okay, you kind of put that in there. You're there really to work on yourself and to become a better person, to eliminate those negative thoughts. And this is what it is. This is where you practice being that person. And it's not about getting, it's about being. The being is the most important thing, which is you. What am I being? You're a human being. So it's about what you're being. And from what you're being, the rest will come. Okay, but the first part is really focusing on what you're being. So what I want you guys to write in the comments is what you want to become, okay, and what you want to transform yourself into being. That's pretty much what is the main thing. And then just consider that your job is an opportunity, okay? Your sales positions, your career is an opportunity to transform yourself to become that. This is the game that we're starting to play now, okay? And what would your life be if you were already these things? If you were already powerful, fearless, relentless? How many opportunities have passed you by because you gave up, because you weren't relentless? You might look at a top producer in your company and trying to compare, like, what do they do, what's different, and you say, well, they have less distractions. Well, consider what would your life be like if you had less distractions, if you had less breakdowns, if you had more of a support group, if you had more friends. What would your life be like? It's important to look at that and see it and take a moment to reflect, of what you want and how you want to be. So we're not going to talk long in the video. I did 20 minutes. Important is a second conversation, but part of being a top rep, top producer, is to be able to eliminate and have these conversations to get to that level where you are fearless and unstoppable. Not only will you get what you want from doing your profession, the money, the success, but you'll also transform your life to be a great person outside of the life. I think a true great salesperson is also a great person in life in general, and that's truly my belief. And so that's what I want you to do, and we're gonna get ready for the second conversation. Again, go back, declare it, make the declaration of what you want to be, who you want to be, tell your friends about it, get to that point where you're ready to move forward, and then I'll see you in the third video. Do the assignments, and then I'll see you in the third video. All right, Dan and Nzinga checking out. It was a great pleasure talking to y'all.